Welcome guys, welcome to this Codeigniter tutorial. In this one we are going to see how to create a login system. So we are going to log in a user, register a user, we are going to put validations. Here you can see the sample, so I have a sign in page here. So if I hit sign in, we simply get the validation. So if I go to create new account and hit sign in, we have validations working there as well. These messages are custom messages, so these are not the we have you can say anything, whatever you want to say here, and we can limit the characters. You can count number of characters, whatever you want. And for example, let's log in here. So if I log in with that test user, we have the image upload and we are displaying the image of user. You can style it more better, but for now I just left it like this. We have the user information, we have image update option here. So if you want to update the image, you can add from here. Now if you go to Logout, you will be straight out to the sign-in page, and if you go back to the dashboard, if you try to access the dashboard without logging in, you will get a message that you must be logged in. So your access is blocked for that. So we are going to put this kind of authentication. So if you want to see how to do this in Codeigniter 4, so let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm in the Codeigniter 4 documentation. Now if you want to install it, you can click on install, and you can install it using Composer. There are steps given. If you want to follow those, you can do that, or you can, and the other way is, the simplest way is just go to codeigniter.com/download. You will see this page where Codeigniter 4 and Codeigniter 3 is there. Simply click on download it, and here I have the Codeigniter, so I'm just gonna get it. Now I'm going to go into XAMPP, then htdocs, and here I have, I'm going to delete these extra zips. I'm going to paste the zip for the Codeigniter, and here I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to give this folder a name of test. So it's going to be test folder, and I'm going to move this inside it. Now here I just want to extract this here, so I'm just going to extract here, and it extracts. Now we have files here. I'm just going to cut these files and here paste. So now we don't need this folder as well as this zip anymore. So this is the default folder for our project. Now we need to open it with the text editor. So I go back to htdocs folder. I'm going to use the Microsoft Visual Studio in this project. So I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to drag and drop the test folder here. So now our application is up here. You can see that again, test on top, so we are on the right folder. Now we have a .env file here. What we need to do, we need to rename this file. So I'm going to say .env, and here let's open this file. And when you open this file, you will see the CI environment. First thing first, we need to change it to development. When your app is live, then you can change it to production, but I want a development. All right. Now, so then we have to scroll down. We have database settings here. I'm just going to remove all the hashes from here, one by one. All right, I'm gonna go back to the browser. Now we should have the XAMPP running. If you don't have XAMPP, you need to install it. So I have XAMPP server running right now, the Apache and MySQL. So if I go to local PHP myadmin, I can see my databases. So here we are going to create another. So all right, so this is the database we're creating. I say create. So we have Codeigniter auth, and as we change the name there, we want to pass the same name here. We have username root, password I want to leave it empty. The rest all stays the same. So we don't need to touch anything else other than that from these settings. So now in this database, we need to create the database table. So let's create. So we are going to create the authentication, user registration, login, and then verification, those kind of stuff. So we need a users table. So I'm going to create users, and I hit go. Here first going to be ID, then going to be name, then I want to have an avatar, then I want to have an email. Now we need more fields here. I want to add 2 more fields. And here password at last created _add, and here name going to be varchar, avatar varchar, email varchar. It's basically various characters, so we want to have them. Timestamp and current timestamp. So whenever you're going to enter into the database table, it's going to store the current time of that time. Here for the ID, we want auto increment, so I'm going to scroll and here auto increment. So it's a primary key, so that's good. Length here, so let's add 255. This is the length I'm providing, and now hit save. Okay, so this is the structure. So we have our database ready. So we will be uploading the image. We have email, we have password, and we have the created time. Right. Now, if I go back to here in our code, what we need to do, we need to open the terminal. So for running the server in the test directory, I say php spark and that's serve, and it's going to run the development server for us. You can see here, and we have it up here. If I refresh the page, you can see that we have the latest Codeigniter 4.1.8, and it's telling us that there is a view file with the welcome.by_message, and then there is a controller which is responsible for this view. Okay, great. So what do we want to do first of all? What I want to do, I want to change this file a bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into straight. I'm gonna minimize this a bit, and we go to app. Now in app directory we have controllers, we have models, and we have views. So all the files are here, those we need. And so in views we have welcome_message, the file which is responsible for current view. So if I want to make any changes, I need to edit this file. So let's do that. So here I scroll down, and I want to add two links here basically. So where it says welcome to Codeigniter, so we need to go there. So well, I'm just gonna remove these course. I remove the time, this h2. Now here I'm gonna remove it all. I'm gonna create two links, and here it's gonna be h3. I'm gonna call it register, and we need another link as well. Copy these and paste here, and it's just going to be login. I can leave it all empty, capital, sorry. So we need some routes here. So to pass a route, we simply say we pass route and Codeigniter, something like this. You simply say site underscore URL, then you can say auth. Now we don't have auth, so I'm going to create a controller model, and so you'll see it. But first I want to add here auth, and I say login. All right, I'm just gonna, oh sorry, it's a register actually, so it's gonna be register. And the same way we copy this, and we paste here, and we say login. Okay, so now if I go back to the page here, refresh, we have two links. If I click here, we go to index.php auth register, and then we go to login, index.php auth login. So first I go back to the code editor. Now our application is here, and in our application, the main directory, the root directory here, I want to create a file, and it's going to be .htaccess. And this file, I'm going to paste this code. So you have this code here, you can see, and here, what exactly we are doing, we are saying remove this index.php from the URL. Okay, we need to first bring the auth register, otherwise we will still be getting 404, so we can't confirm it is working or not. So what I do is leave the code like this here, and I'm going to create a controller. So in our controllers, we have base controller and home controller. So if we want to create a controller, we can do using command line. So here in terminal, what do we want to say? We would say php spark make controller, and we want to have auth controller. So just hit it. Now it's going to I created a file, you can see here, auth controller for us, and here we can have a method, and this is going to be the register page. And if you want to go for a login, you can go to the login page. So if I go back here, login, we have the auth login, and go back here. Then what I want to do, instead of login itself, I'm going to have auth. So by auth, it should go to the login page. So for that, all we need to do, we need to say here, index as a name. You don't need to pass any of the names. So index is going to be the default for this route. So here we can say login. So if I go here and refresh, go back, refresh, and log in. Okay, we need to change the this. So I'm just gonna remove the login from here. Go back, refresh, log in. So now we are in auth, you can see here, and it says login page. Now let's see why we don't have the index.php removed here. So the thing is, when we pass the htaccess here, after that we need to go into the app, config, app.php, and scroll down. You will see index page here, and there is index.php. We need to remove this and make it empty. Now this is empty, so it should be working now. So if we go back here, refresh, log in, you can see that, and we don't have index.php anymore. If we register, and we have the register, brilliant. So now we can work with this. So what I want to do first, I want to create a login page here. Now for the login page, I will go into close the config. Here in views, we're going to create a directory. So I'm going to say our new folder. It's going to be auth, and in auth folder, I'm going to create a file with the name of login.php. All right. So this file is now going to be responsible for the login view. So currently, we are just if I close this, auth controller, we need that. And I close the welcome underscore page, so we don't need that one. So here we are just saying echo. Now instead of this, we say here return, and we need to return the view. So it's going to be view method, and simply we say here auth/login. So by saying this, we are saying go in auth directory, look for login.php, and log from there. So if I go here, hello, and then we go here, refresh, we get hello. So I have the Bootstrap's website up here, and there is a Bootstrap CDN. So I'm going to use the Bootstrap for the styling. So here I have the link. I copy this from here, go back here, and log in. I'm going to create the HTML boilerplate here, and then we can remove these comments. Okay. Now we need to add the Bootstrap, so I'm gonna add Bootstrap right here. Okay, so Bootstrap is there. Now if I say h2 hello, let's see if Bootstrap is working. So you can see that the styling is there in Bootstrap. And the other way you can check is view page source. There is the CDN, click on it, and you will see the code for that file. So it's loading it. Alright, great, so we have it. So let's work with the form. Now we need to create a form here. So for that, I go to here, remove this all. And I'm gonna say here div with the class of container. Then div with the class of row. And inside it we want a small form, and it should be in the middle of the page. So I'm gonna say here div with the class of col md4. And to make it center, I'm going to say offset -4. And inside it, we want h4. That is going to tell us what exactly it is. So I'm going to say sign in. So this is a sign in page. I want a line here, horizontal line. And after that, we want the form. So I say here form with the class of form. And we have here form created. Inside with this one, I say div with the class of form group, and inside it we have input with the class of form control. This is the Bootstrap classes. So if I go refresh here, you can see that we have nice input and sign in, looking nice. If you want some kind of margin on top, we can say margin top 3. And here I do want to have more things than this, so let's do that. So what I do to make it readable, we put it next like this, and then after what do we want? We want here name. So for the login, we want email, and then we want placeholder. So we can say email here. So user can enter email here, and that's it. And then you can have a label as well. So if you want to, so just put a label and pass here whatever label you want. So I say label email. Okay, so that's good. Now we want more than this. So I'm just going to copy this and paste this here. So the second field is going to be password. So for any login system, you will see password along with email. Generally they ask, so here, input type password. Name, password. And go back there, refresh, you have the email, and we have password. Now, in case we want to give some kind of spacing in between, we can pause here, margin bottom 3, and I want to pause this in the next field too, so it looks a bit better. And I'm going to copy this again because we want a submit button. And here we don't need the label, we just need a button. It's going to be type submit, and we're gonna give it a class of BDN info, and for value I say sign in, and we don't need the placeholder. So go back and refresh, we have the button, and works just like how it's supposed to do the job. Now we can create the token in form so that Bootstrap, Codeigniter will secure our forms. So here we pass CSRF token, so we say CSRF underscore field. Alright, and this is a function, and we close it. Now when you do this and refresh and go back to your page, and here when you inspect it, and you can see here we have our input hidden, and here we have a token for this form, and that depends on the session, and that way Codeigniter will secure our form. Alright, now we can also define here a few things. I'm going to do that. So we have action, we have class, we also need to have method. So what method you want, get or post. So I want post method in this one. So we want to post it wherever we want to post it, and we will add the function for now. But I'm going to, now this is complete, let's create another page. So because we just want to have another page too for register, and the style is going to be quite similar. So I'm going to copy everything from here to save our time and paste in here. And now let's change a few things here. So sign in going to be sign up, and here method going to be post. We want email, obviously. We do want name as well, so we can put another field here. Now it's going to be name, and name here. All right, so name, email, password, and they're going to be confirmed password. So I'm gonna paste here another time, and here I'm going to be confirm password. So in here I'm gonna call it confirm. Okay, password confirm. So and type password, that's all right, and confirm password goes here. So rest all stays the same. Here we say sign up or register, whatever you prefer, and yeah. So if I refresh, go back, if you remember initially we gave two pages here. So we have register. If I go here, it's a register page, so we need to tell that load from a view file instead of echoing out. So here we want to say return view, go in auth folder, there register page, load that one. Okay, so it's going to do that, refresh, and we have a form. Beautiful. We don't have spacing in between, so let's add it quickly. So it's going to be margin bottom 3 here. So if I want it here, obviously I want it in every input. So paste here, and yeah, better. Now I want to paste a link here at the bottom so we can easily switch between register and login page. So let's do that quickly. Here I'd say we can add a simple anchor tag here. So anchor tag, and then we say site underscore URL, and here we need to pass the auth for login. If you remember, we just have auth. In the same way, I want to copy this, and I will also add a break here so it will be a little bit separate. And as with this anchor tag, we need to put some text as well. So here I say I already have an account and login. So this will take the user to login. If user is in login already and doesn't have account, create account. We say here create a new account and auth register. Okay, now go back, refresh. I already have an account, log in. You go login page, create a new account. So we can easily switch between these two. Alright, that's great. Now first we need to create a user so that we can then log in a user. So I go to create a new page, account register page, sorry, and here we need to make user login. So for now I close the login page. We go to the register. Here I'm going to say, okay, once we have all the inputs, we need to submit it to a function, and which function it's going to be. So we say here base underscore URL, and here I'm going to say auth / register user, and this should be in code, so just like this. Now we don't have it there, so go back here, and here we say, and make it remove the space from here. Yeah, better. Now here, save new user to database. Alright, and then we say public function, and name is register user, and this is the function we're going to deal with, and this function will save the user. Alright, the first thing first, we need to validate the user, so let's do that. So we have here, I'm going to create a validate user input field. Check all the fields here. So I say here validated is equal to $this. We are referring to the auth class, and then we say validate, and we pass an array. Now this array will have all the fields. So we have name, and we have email, and then we have password. The same way we have confirm password. I don't know what I call it. So here we call it password confirm like this. So we need the same here. Alright, so for the validation, name going to be required. Okay, the same way email going to be required. Now if you want multiple validation inputs, we just put a pipe, and then we say another rule. So we want to check here if the email is valid. So it's going to be valid underscore email and comma. Now for password, it's going to be required, obviously, pipe. Then we want minimum length underscore length, and you can pass the length in like this. So I want minimum 5, or if you want to pass the maximum length, you simply say here max length. But in our case, I think minimum is enough good. Or let's pass the max too. So I just say here max underscore length. Let's pass here 20. Alright, now this confirm password is going to be quite the same. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste here. This requires a comma. And there's going to be extra rule here because it's a confirm password. So we say here, okay, match. So it's a matches what? So we say matches password. So match with the password. And if this is true, that means our validations are working, otherwise not. Okay, so here we simply can say here, okay, if not $validated, Okay, and then what we want to do, we want to return, because we are coming from register page, so we want to go back to register page. So here view, and it's going to be auth/register. Now this time we will be passing an error. It's going to be a validation error, and then going to be $this, and we say here validator, and that's it. So now for validation to work and display the errors, we need to create a helper. So I'm going to create a, first of all, we need to enable the helper. So I go to auth.php, the same file, and in this class we need to create a constructor. So here enabling features, and here I will say public function __ construct. Okay, and here in constructor we say helper, and then we pass an array, and we want to use helper URL, and the second I want to use form helper. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to go in here in our file and look for a directory name helpers, and here I'm going to create a file. I'm going to call it form_helper.php, and here we are going to create a function. And this function will help us basically work with validate. So here php, and I can add the comment here, displaying errors to form after validation. Alright, and here we say function, and I call it display form errors. Okay, and here we say if. Now this is going to take 2 arguments, and here we want to pass $validation, the first one. The second is field, which field it is validating, and here we say $validation if has error, and we are passing the field here. Then what do we want to do? We want to return $validation, and we say get error. So validation provides error, and we are just going to return that error based on the field. Alright, now we are calling this so we can use this function. Now in our register page, what we want to do, we have a name here. So in the place here, just below the input, I'm going to create a span, and the span needs to have class text danger. Now this is going to make it red, basically, nothing more. Text SM for small text, and inside it we put our logic to work with Codeigniter validation, basically. So we say set $validation. So we are passing validation here. So if validation is there, then what do we want to do? We want to say display. I need to copy the name, display form error, like this. And I'm going to move it here. This is a function, and we want to say $validation because we are getting it. So we are getting the validation from here, if you remember, and then we are here passing it. The second is going to be the field, as it is expecting in our helper, the field. So field is going to be the name of the field. So simply we want to pass a string name. That's it, nothing more, and this will do the job. Now it's still red because we need to, after this, say pass empty string. So if the validation is there, display validation error, otherwise empty string. So this is how it's going to work. Let's see if it works. If I go here, refresh, resend, it says the name field is required. Brilliant. Now to work with the other fields, we can use the same helper function. So what we need to do, basically, I'm just going to copy this, paste here, So validation, if it's going to have email error regarding email, it is going to have this variable set for email. All we need to pass is the second parameter, which is a string, which is the email. Same way, I want to pass this for password and confirm password. So it goes like that. Password. Copy this again, go down here, and here, password confirm. Now if I go back and refresh, resend, we have error for each. Now, there is another problem we have. So if you see here, it says the name field is required, that's alright. The email field is required, it's alright. The password is still fine, but for password confirm, you can see it's not showing exactly how it's supposed to. So we need to provide custom validation. So for that, I go back to auth. Here, where we have validation, I'm going to comment this one. And I'm going to write the validated rules and along with the errors. So here it's going to be dollar validated, just like that. Going to be equal to $this, and then we want validate. It's gonna have array just as before. We had it right there, but this array is going to be a bit different. First, it's going to have name, then it's going to have email. All right, and here each time we want to pass here another array. So here it's going to have that like this. In name, we say rules. And this is how you define custom rules. So rule going to be required the same, required. The way I did here for the name, but we also going to provide the error. So I say errors. And it's going to be an array again. And this is going to be required because whatever is the rule, you pass that as a name, and then the string what you want as a error to return. So you say here your full name is required. All right. And just like that, we need to work with email. So I'm just going to copy this portion, paste here. Rule required will work. What I can do is simply copy this string from here, paste here. Your email is required. We change it to that because it's an email. Now valid rule is another rule, so we want error for it. So here we pass it and the rule, and then we pass the custom message. So email is already used. Alright, good enough. So I copy this again, whole thing, paste here. This is going to be password, and this password is going to have more validations obviously, so we want to copy those. Paste here. For required, it's fine. Min length, we need to copy it, pass here min length, and password must be alright, so here password cannot be must be 5 characters long. Then we have max underscore length. That's going to be password, and this time we say cannot be longer than 20 characters. Alright, now this is done for this one. Now I'm going to copy and paste it one more time because we need to validate confirm password as well. So password confirm, copy, paste, and here we copy the rules. Everything stays the same way, only the one thing we're going to add here more as compared to it's the matches. And here the string going to be confirm password must match the password. All right, good enough. And then we're going to see the error accordingly. Refresh here, resend here, and we have email. I missed something, and that is because you need to update the messages. So here email, here password, and here password, confirm password. All right, so it should be fine now. Confirm is required, password required, all is good. All right, now let's deal with the processing of the form, because we have the validation done on headers out there. So if user fills everything, then what? And here what I do, basically when I type here a name, let's say Roger, and I hit sign up, you can see the error occurred, the input field is gone empty. So that's another thing we need to fix. So let's do that. Go to register.php, and here we have name, and there we want to add value. So value, and here we want to say set underscore value, and we want to pass the string as name, and this will help us have our value there. So if I go back here, refresh, resend, we have the Roger present there. So if you guessed it right, we need the same way on every input. So email, and then we need it here on password. At last we need it in the confirm password. So any error occurs, our inputs will be there. So just to check, if I put here anything and sign up, we still have the content there. Good. Now let's deal with the processing of this form. I'm going to close the form helper, and in here, once if this happens, then it's going to return error. Otherwise, here we save the user. All right. So let's deal with this. So we can get the value, and to get the value, basically what we want to do, we say here $name, and we want to pass the value here. So this request, and then get, and it's going to be from post form. So we want to get the value here like this. Now I want to have this multiple times because of all fields, and here it's going to be email, here it's going to be password, at last confirm password, password confirm. We can copy and paste here, password, and then email. All right, now here I want to create a $data array, and this $data array is going to have all these values. So I'm gonna say, okay, name, and $name, and email, $email, and then here password, $password. Now here we need to hash the password. So basically we need to encrypt the password because we can't save the password straight away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a hash class which is going to basically hash this password. So let's do that. So I say hash, and then I create a function, and I'll call it encrypt. Alright, now currently we don't have this function and class, so what I do, we go in libraries, and here I create a new class. I call it hash.php, and this class is going to have all the code. So the function name is encrypt, so copy that. Here I say php start, and we pass here namespace, which is going to be app, and then libraries. Alright, here we say class hash, and this class hash is going to have the method encrypt user password, and this is going to be public function encrypt, and my password, we are receiving password here, so whatever password you're receiving, we want to return it after password underscore hash. So this is the function which is going to convert it. So we said password, and the second parameter is password underscore bycrypt. This is from the Codeigniter, so it's going to do the job, and it's going to compress, encrypt it, and then we can store it. And here, yeah, it's I think enough. So let's work with the saving. So far so good. We have created the controller, we have validated the form, but for saving and talking to database, we need to create a model. Alright guys, let's create a model so then we can store data in database, because models will be talking to the database. So currently we are in models directory, it's empty. We say here PHP Spark make model, and then it's a user model. So you give the name and it creates the file for you. It's here, use a model. Now here we have the protected table name, primary key all set already by default, that's good. We are not going to touch anything here. The only thing I want to have is the allow fields. So if you see here, protected allow fields. So we need to put all the fields we have here. So let's do that. So here I say allow fields are name, then avatar, then we have password. I forgot email, so it should be here. It should be fine. Order, it doesn't matter in this one. So yeah, so these four are the main we have. And yeah, so these four we will be inserting into, so it's alright. I can close this file here in our controller. Now we can call this model, so let's do that. So here, storing data. So here we say new, and then we say backslash app and models, and then the user model. Alright, now we want to have a variable here, so I say user model. Now this user model is going to store the data, so let's do that. So for that I say here $query equals $user model, and here we simply can call the method insert, and we can pass $data the values we have, and it's going to insert it. So here we can check if not $query, do this, else do this. So here we say return redirect, and here we want to return user back, and we want to back send user with a message, and it's going to be fail message, and that's going to be let's say saving user failed. Okay, now here if it works just fine, then what we want to do in that case, we can return redirect similar way back, and here with success, and I want to pass a message here, user added successfully, or you registered successfully, anything, whatever you want to say here. So semicolon at the end, all good. So I refresh the page. Basically, let's go to the main page here. Register. I pass a name here, Roger. Test@gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. confirm password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Sign up, and here we have header. So it says, okay, it's a spelling mistake. Sorry about that here. So it's a request. I copy and again here. All right, so far so good. Let's try again. And here, okay, I did not include this class. We need to include this class from library, so that is also important. So on top, let's say use app libraries hash. All right, that should be fine. Try again. Now it says encrypt cannot be statically called. Okay. Sorry about that. We need to pass a static keyword here to make it static, and then you can call it with the scope resolution operator. So here we used it. So if you want to call using these 4 dots scope resolution operator, you need to have the static keyword there. So here, refresh. Now it's done. Go back here, browse, and we have the user. All right, so we got the user inserted, but in my code I had the redirect message success and fail. So we need to send these messages. So if I go to register.php, here where we have our form started. So our form is here. We can give our messages right here. So let's do that. So what I do is simply below this here, I'm going to add the PHP code, and here I'm going to add the PHP. And inside it, we're basically going to check for sessions. So I say here simply if empty, not empty, a session, and we want to get flash messages. So it's flash data. So this is the function that will get us the messages. What we need to pass is the key. So whatever is the key we are using. So here the keys fail and success. So we just need to pass that. So here I pass success. And if it is not empty, that means we have a success message there. And then here we can in PHP install PHP, and inside we can say div and with the class of alert, and here I'm going to pass alert success. Alright, and here then we can display the message. So here I'm going to say simply I'm just going to copy and paste the same. So we have the message stored inside it, so it's going to display this fine. Now here we can also say else if, and here we can simply copy everything from here and paste right here like this. In this case we want to say fail. So if not empty this, this is going to be danger, so that is going to be red, and this is going to be foul. Alright, so it should work. So if I go here, refresh, and register a new user, so let's register test. So last username is Roger, so we just want test here, test@gmail.com, and 1 2 3 4 5 6, and 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sign up, and we have the register successfully message, so that's great. So we have the message displaying perfectly. Now as we have 2 users in our database, now we should work on the login so that we have a dashboard where we can even set the avatar. So let's work on that. So if I go back here, I already have account, login, I go there. Now for this form I need to go into the login.php. Now so far we have nothing in here, we don't have validations or anything, so let's add that. So here I go in register, and here we have the messages. So I'm going to copy this from here and I'm going to put right here. Now in this we need to pass the field name, because we're not going to have name in this one, so we will have email. The same way we need to pass in password. So password this will do. Now also we don't have, if I go back here, our form has action here, so we need to set action too in login. So in here our action is empty, so put this here. Now I'm gonna say here login user, so we're gonna create this method in a moment. Other than this, what I want to do, I want to also add this session success, and if we get that, so just copy this and I'm gonna paste it right here above the form. Alright, looks fine. So it's gonna display the messages if in case we get any messages. So let's work with this method now. So if I go back here and refresh and sign in, we go to login user. So that's the one. So we go here in auth. Now here, our register method is here. So just below this I will add a comment and I'll call it user login method. And here it's going to be public function. This is the method. And now we need to work with this method. So first thing first, we need to validate it. So we can save some time using the register method. So we have it here. So what I do is simply copy this. And yeah, I copy this portion and minimize this and go here and paste it. Okay, on top we say validating user input. Now we don't have names, so we can remove it. And we don't have confirm password in this case, so we can remove that too. So we just have these two, and that's all we need. So if we go here, back on the register method again, sorry, it's here. So we can copy this, go back down here. So here is the validation is ending. So just below it, I put if not validated, what do we want to do? So we want to send user to login page back, and that's going to be validation and validator. And here then we are going to have else statement, and in else statement we can just start checking the user details. So user details in database, checking user detail in database. Right, so let's do that. So we need to get the user detail. We'd like email in a variable. So I'm going to create a variable here. It's going to be $this and request, and then it's going to be get post as the method of form. So made this post. So here we are using method post. So just like that. So here we're going to get the email. All right. And I'm going to copy the same field here, and this time it's going to be password, and the same name we need to provide to the variable. Okay, now here we need to get the model, so let's get that. So user model is going to be new, and what I simply do is say here user model. Alright, so it's not going to see it, so on the top we can call it, so we can say use app, and then we have models directory there, and then we have user model. So it should work after this. Scroll down, so we have our user model called. Now let's save the data. So for saving the data, what I want to do, I want to say here $user and model. And we want to say where email equals $email. We want to get the whole record. We want to get it, and we want to save it inside $user info. So this is the variable we will be storing it. And here I want to create here check, which is going to be a function, and we want to pass it in our hash class. So let's do that. So I'm going to call hash and check. Now we are calling it using scope resolution operator, so we need to add the static keyword. So we will be checking that. So we are passing password, and we are passing $user info, and basically password. Now in a moment I'll show you how it works. So this is what we need to do. So I go back to hash. Here we need to create a method. Check. Just a match. So here it's going to be public function, and we need to call check, and here I want to pass to so if I go back to here, we have the password coming first and then the user password coming second here. So user password is coming from the model, which is database. It's a database password, and this is the user password, so we need to name it like that. So here user password comma $db user password. Alright, so we need to check if these two are the same, then return true, otherwise false. So we simply pass a condition here, and there's a function from Codeigniter, so it's a password verify, and you just pass here the user password, and then the second we need to pass the DB password. I'm just going to check if these are true, so maybe it is going to return true, and here we say return false. Now we are not putting else here, because if this is true, this is going to return and it's going to stop, and if it's not true, it's going to go to the next and it's going to return false. So here we need the same thing, so we just getting it like that and matching it like if it is same or not. So if it is same, so what I'm going to do here, I'm simply going to say $check password, so it's going to be either true or false, and then we're going to check here if not, that means if it is false, that means the user provided a password which is not correct, so we want to give user an error. So we can say here session, and we can say set flash data. Actually these small in this, I think, data, and then what are we going to pass in this? We're going to say fail, because we have fail and success message set there, and we're going to say incorrect password provided. Alright, so it should work just fine, and we want to say here return to redirect to auth, which is a login page. That's it. And here I want to say else. That means if the password provided is alright, correct, and process user info. So here simply I want to get the $user ID. Just going to be $user info, and they're going to be ID. So we're just getting the user ID, and what do we want to do? We want to set the session value for this user, so it's going to be session and set, and in set we want pass key and value. So here logged in user, and then here we're going to say $user ID, and then we say return redirect, and here you want to return it to a new page. That's going to be a dashboard page, basically, there we want to show the information. We don't have that page right now, so we will create it soon. So I say to dashboard. So far so good. So user logs in, if information is correct, user will be passed to a dashboard page, otherwise user will have an error. So we know that the user info. So if I go for our test and I say 1, 2, 3, log in, must be 5. So let's try again. Okay, this is getting empty as well. So we did this in register.php, if you remember, value set. So we need to do that too in this login. So simply put it here, it will be quick. So this is going to be email. And the same way we want to do it in password too. So password. Alright, now go back, refresh, resend, we have email, and the password should be more than 5 characters, so I put any 5, more than 5, and then sign in. And okay, I made a mistake, I didn't call this statically. So here, if you remember, I forgot here, sorry about that, static. And also we need to check if hash is included. I think hash is included, yeah. Resend, yeah, encrypt password provided. So we getting the error, that's good. Now if we pass the correct password, and then, okay, I forgot what was the password for. Okay, so we were passed to dashboard, and currently we don't have dashboard, so we're getting 404. That's perfectly fine. So working with the dashboard, we need to create a controller. So I'm just going to use the PHP Spark, and then we need to say make controller, and I'm going to call it dashboard, and it's a dashboard controller, and we should have it. So we have it here, and we have a by default index method. So if we go to dashboard and here echo 1 to 3, so it should be having it. You can see that. Now let's work with this. So dashboard is going to have a view. So we're going to say return view, and I will create a dashboard / index. All right, this is the view file. So let's create this view. So we have it here in views, auth folder, but we want a dashboard folder. So dashboard, and inside it we can create a file, index.php. Yeah, all good. So now in the dashboard, I want to show the user information. So we need to get the user information. For that, we need to use the model. So here we say simply $user model. For that, we need to create a new user model. Now for this, we need to include this class, otherwise we are going to get the error. Use, and then app, then models, and then user model. Looks good, so it will be accessible. Now here we need to use the I want to use the logged in user ID. So if user once logged in, and here login user, where we log in, you can see that before passing to the dashboard we are setting the session, so we can use that value. So here I say $logged in user ID right there, and if we have the ID, so what we can do, we can call a find method on our model. So user model find, and when you use find, you can pass the ID straight away. So we pass that straight away here. And then we say, all right, if you find the user ID, then what we want to do? And then we want to pass here a $user info is equal to this. And here I'm going to create a $data array. And this array is going to have title. So we're going to have a page title to display the page, and I'm going to call it dashboard, and then user info, and that's going to be the user info variable. Now if you want to pass it to the view, you can pass it like this, $data. So now we are passing this value to our view. So if I go here to dashboard index, now here we can work with the displaying the content. So for that, I go to Bootstrap, and actually Bootstrap table. So we have a table straight away. So the table we're gonna take. So I just copy the code. Now in here, first we need the HTML5 boilerplate. So I remove these comments from here. And here I want to create a div with the class of container, and then div with the class of row. And inside it, we want to have div the class of call md8. And I will also pass offset to make it center, offset 2. And inside it, we can have our table. So here first, I want to have h4. And I'm just gonna say dashboard. Alright, now we also want to HR, and then we paste our table here, displaying there. So go back here, refresh. Okay, we don't have Bootstrap included, so in the register page we have the Bootstrap here. So I'm just gonna copy from here. And go to dashboard, dashboard, next. And just gonna replace this with the Bootstrap. So it should be fine now. Alright, we have the center here. So I want to have it in the middle, so we also provide here a bit of more classes. So for the top, I added a row. It's padding top 3, and that's it. So here we have the table head action. So we can log out the user. I just want a button there, nothing more than that. So here, what do we want to do? Here first, for the username. So we are passing a variable, which is the user info variable, and inside it, what we have user info. So this variable, and then we can call the email here. So if I say email like this, it should display the email. And the same way we can display the name. So here we have second name, third email. So this stays email, and that stays name. Go here, refresh. Okay, what I missed. Refresh. Okay, we have the name and email. Image is not there, we'll be working on it. And yeah, that's good. Now, other than this, what we need. So we have dashboard here. Instead, we can pass here title. So if you remember, we passed the title as well. So that we can call simply here as $title. So like we call here user info, which is the same variable name, the same way $title goes there. So okay, nothing changes, all good. All right, so here where we have the first element, we need to show the user image. So let's stay with this. Here I create a form inside it, and this form is going to have only single input, and it's going to be input type file. And here I also want to pass here class, and this is going to have form control for styling. Then we need here name, I'll call it user image, and also we need size, so it's going to be 10. Okay, so this is all we need here. Now this form is going to process the image, so we need here a type. Okay, and it's going to be multi-part form data. Okay, also method is going to be post. Okay, now let's talk about the action. So here we pass action, and action is going to be the base underscore URL, and then they're going to be auth slash upload image. Okay, we don't have it right now, but we will be having it. Now here, after this input, what I want to do HR, and here, after HR, we just want a button. Input with this type of submit. Okay, this will submit the form, and for the image, we will display the image just above it, like here. But currently we don't have it. So okay, so go here, refresh. Okay, it looks like this. So action. We will deal with this. So we have the image form ready, so we can select and pass the image. So let's do that. So for this, if I click here, it goes to not upload image. So we need to create this method. So let's do this. So we go to auth, and here minimize this, and then here upload user image, and here public function, and the name was now where it is, upload image. All right, now what do we want to do? First thing first, I want the logged in user ID session, and we can get it from session. Just get logged user, like we did before. Okay, now I'm gonna minimize it. Alright, so we have it. Now after that, what do we want to do? I want to create here $config, and it is going to have a value. It's going to be upload underscore path. So we need to create a path here. I'm going to pass a function get cwd, and then dot images. Alright, this is the path. Now we need, and this is going to be string like this. Okay, now what do we need? We need the image name. So I say here image name, and it's going to be $this request, and after request get file, and get file means to have the file from this name user image, and then after that we will call get name, and this function is going to get the name for it. Alright, so here we say if directory not present, and then create. Okay, so it's if not is underscore dir, and we pass this config upload path inside it. So if it's not created already, so we need to create it. So it's mkdir, pass this as path, and then permission to have 0777, and yeah, it should be fine now. So if not there, it's going to create this folder for us. Now after that, what do we want to do? Now we need to get image, and we can do that using, I'm going to create a variable $image is equal to $this request and get file. Alright, and just gonna pass the user image. Okay, now what we want to do here is basically we need to upload this. So here we say if and not $img, and here is a function has moved. So this we need to check if it is moved or not, and we want to also check the user is logged in. So we can say here $logged in user ID. So it should be more than 1, more than 0. So okay, if both the conditions are fine, $img, we're gonna say move this file. And where to move? So we have the path here, and we're gonna copy this path, paste here, and also we want to pass the file name. So here the file name, image name. So that's going to be the second parameter here. Alright, so it should move the file for us. Now also I say here $data is equal to an array which is going to have avatar, and avatar going to be image name. Okay, now what we need to do, now once we have this, we can update the name of this image in our database. So I call here user model. Alright, and it's going to be new user model, and I believe I already have the model called on top, so it's alright. It's going to work just fine. $user model equals new user model with this, and then $user model, and here what we're going to say, we're going to say update. Now when we update it, what we want to do, we want to pass the ID, logged in user ID, because there we want to add the name of the image, and then we want to pass the $data. So I just copy this, paste here, and it should put it there. Okay, now we can send the notification to user that everything worked fine or not. So here our if condition is working. So here what I'm going to say, simply redirect. Actually, let me return redirect, and we say to dashboard/index. Alright, and we want to pass with, and here I'm going to say notification this time. And what message we want to pass? We're going to say okay, image uploaded successfully. Simple enough. Alright, and this is when the image is going to upload. But what if image is not uploading? Then in that case we need another redirect. So I copy this. Now in dashboard, now in the index.php in dashboard, if I go in the bottom of the table where the table is ending here, I'm going to start PHP, and here we're gonna have conditions set. So let's do that. So I say if not empty, or to save time we can copy it. So we added it in the login, I think. So here, just gonna copy this and gonna paste in here. Alright, if not empty and get plus message, it's gonna be notification. Alright, and we want to pass this notification here because we're going to show it, and instead of success it's going to be info. Okay, so that's going to work. So go back, refresh, and we get unclosed into 14. Okay, that means it didn't go there, so refresh. Image upload failed. Go to the directory of this project here in test public. We have images folder here, but the image is not being added there. So, and not in here as well. So here, that means we successfully did this, but after that here we got some issue. Now to find out the error, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this whole function in try and catch statement. So currently we are not using it, but it should be there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say here try, and then there's going to be a catch. Okay, it's going to have exception, $E, and here we say simply echo $E get message. Alright, and the code of this function, the whole code, we're gonna cut it. Okay, so this is the function, how it looks currently, and everything what we have goes inside try. Alright, so we are getting the error, so we need to check why is that, because we are getting straight into else. First thing, we need to check the logged in username, user ID, sorry. So when we log in, what I'm setting it. So I'm setting in the session logged in user. And here we are checking for logged user. So yeah, that's a mistake here. That's why the condition is straight away going to else instead of this. So let's try again. So what I do, I go back here, browse, select image, and then hit submit. It says image uploaded successfully, great. Now let's go to the directory, and if we see here images, and then we have the image, great. Now as we have image here, now we can even display this image. So if I see here in database, let's see if we have the, yeah, we got the name here as well. So let's display it. So if I go to dashboard, here, so we need to first tell here about the directories. We know that this images folder, so it's going to be slash images slash here I want to start the, basically we need to pass here the user info and avatar. So it's going to be like that. Let's see, avatar. Alright, let's see if it shows up. Go back there, refresh. Yeah, we have the image. So you can design it as you like. You might want to change it, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like this. You can change it as you prefer. You can do it more advanced if you want to. Now another thing we need to work is the logout. So it was not done. So here I just say logo. It's not logo, it's logout. So we want to create another route here. So let's do that. So here we say site underscore URL, and what URL it's going to be auth/logout. Okay, so currently we don't have this, so obviously we're not going to go there. I don't know what's wrong with my spellings. Logout. Click here, logout 404. Alright, let's go to auth controller. Here we create another method. So I'm just going to minimize this one. And here, now log out the user. Public function logout. I say echo log out. Simply, it's a string. Go back there, refresh, and we have it. So for the logout, all we need to do, so I'm gonna remove this, and if session, we want to remove it. So session remove and login user. Okay, now return our redirect, and we want to redirect to auth, and this is a login page, and we're gonna say our access equals logged out. And here we can say with fail. So we are passing a message here. You are logged out. Alright, so this should work. So let's see here. Refresh. You were logged out. Brilliant. Now I go to create account, login account, all works fine. And now let's see if we can go to dashboard. So if I go to dashboard, and we have this here error. Yeah, this is happening because we are basically the user is not logged in, and we are trying to get the user info. So I'm going to stop user to go on this page if user is not logged in. So for that we can create a filter. So what we need to do basically, if we go here in our project here, we have filters folder, and here we need to create a filter. Alright, so for creating the filter we need to go into terminal and say php spark make filter, and I call this auth check filter. So we are checking authorization here, auth check filter. Alright, hit it, and there it is inside filters directory. If I open it, the structure looks something like this. We have before and after. So before is going to fire first before going to the route in there, and that's what we need, because we need to check that if the user is logged in, only then the user will be able to go to dashboard. So here what I want to do, we want to say so I say here if not set. So we are setting a session value, so we are going to I'm just going to copy that here, session. Okay, so it's going to be session get instead, so we're going to pass that to here. Okay, no. Let's copy session has instead. So here, if not session has this value, that means the user is not logged in. That means return user redirect. And where redirect to? We want to redirect to auth page, which is a login page. And we can also send user back with the message, and we are already checking for fail message there, so we can pass fail message here. You must be logged in to access this page. Simple as that. So now this is ready, semicolon at the end required. Now this is ready. Now to make this filter working, we need to register it. So we go inside the config folder, inside app directory. There we have filters.php. Scroll down, you will see the this array, and here we need to include our filter. So here I call auth check, and simply you can give it any name you want here. But when you use on the route, you need to call this name, the name you're providing. And here, basically, we want to call this filter. So here, this is the filter class. I'll copy it here as class. Now it should be included. So use here, and that's it. So it's going to access it, and it's going to work. Now we have our filter registered there. But if I go to the same directory, config, there is a folder named route, file named routes, and here we have all the route settings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand it a bit. So you can see here there's a route given for / and it's going to go to home. Now just below this I'm going to put check if user, or I see instead it's better to say logged in user routes. And here what do we want to say? We want to say $routes. Alright, and then we want to call a group. Okay, and we want to give pass an empty string, and after that we want to say and that we are using a filter on it, and the filter we want to use is auth check Now the name of this filter from here, so whatever name you pass here, just pass that in here. Okay, that should match. Then function, and here dollar routes, and then inside it we're going to say dollar routes get. Okay, and here slash dash board, and here we simply say dash board, and then index method. Okay, so if I go to dashboard index method, this is the method, and when we are going to go into this route, it's going to first check through this filter, and then it's going to send it there. And any route you want to secure, you can pass in here. All right, let's try it. And here it should be /auth. And here, let's see what happens. So if I go now to dashboard and hit it, so you get the message you must be logged in. So we are not able to go there. So if I log in now, test 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, sign in. Now I'm there. So I'm images showing, we have our details showing, everything's working fine, and log out, all works fine. So create account, log in, all.
And I'll go is not in her.